Hi Gemini, welcome to Carol's Universe Tarot Readings from the Heart. Thanks ever so much guys for joining me on your reading. So we're going to do, it's slightly different today. I started off doing Pisces yesterday, sort of kind of mid-weekly type reading from the 18th of March through to the next week. But then, because I'm doing the Gypsy Tarot spread, it felt like the energies were it felt like they were longer, so it felt like it was more about the next 3 to 4 weeks than it did about a week. It felt like everything was just too much to fit into a week. So I've decided to do this as kind of like a 4-weekly reading, the 18th of March through to the 18th of April, okay? For any of you guys that don't know the Gypsy Tarot, I'm using a 7-column spread. Everybody does this differently. This is the way that I do my Gypsy Tarot. So I look at the first column, which would be the mental and emotional. You get 3 cards per column. And the first card in that mental and emotional will really be about where your head is, and also it's really doubles up, that card is where your head is, and also it doubles up for what the situation is. So everything kind of goes back to that very first card that we turn over. Then we look at what your personal situation is. We look at what your hopes and dreams are in the third column. Your expectations of the situation in the fourth, anything hidden coming in that you can't control, number 5, column 5. Column 6 will be around the, column 6, I usually read that as being kind of, around between the 10th and the 18th of April would be my timing on that area there, and then what the overall outcome will be for the whole spread. Alright, so with that being said, let's get on with the reading and enjoy. Okay, Gemini, let's have a look at the reading. So what's the situation about, where is the mental at? So, right, the 3 of Swords. Okay, so 3 of Swords is an interesting card, because 3 of Swords is kind of, it's about heartbreak and sadness and disappointment and just feeling a sense of a lack of optimism is the 3 of Swords energy. It's where you've got plans and they kind of don't work out, that type of thing. The card can also represent 3 people or 1 person that comes between 2 lovers with the 3 of Swords energy. This can also represent an argument happening between more than one, more than 2 people, 3 people perhaps here. But it's also the card that just really says, it can also represent somebody who's got a cold. I know it sounds really weird, but this deck can show someone who's actually just got a cold. But yeah, it's a card of kind of disappointment and sadness and regret and heartbreak and remorse and all of those things. What's your mental and emotional concerning that? It's also a card that represents separation too. Yeah, you're moving on from it. Well, it depends, because the Knight of Wands can be anger as well. Remember, Wands are fire. So mentally and emotionally, how you feel about it. I am actually going to take a punt and say that you're feeling very angry with that card there, with the Knight of Wands energy. I mean, it depends. You could say that you're overcoming it, because the Knight of Wands means to move away. It means to exit. So you could be overcoming this mentally and emotionally. You could be letting it go with the Knight of Swords energy showing it. Knight of Wands. But the Knight of Wands also, remember, it's ruled by Sagittarius. And Sagittarians are the explorers of the tarot. So you might be exploring this. But then you'd have to be, look how fast he goes. He's really kind of pursuing something here. So for me, it's not about exploring this. It's more about kind of, it feels like you're moving out of it or you're angry about it. Let's have a look at what the reason is and see which one that could be. Because of the Lovers. Now that's you. You're using your head over your heart. So this is you moving away from this. This isn't anger, because anger is irrational. But the Lovers card is not irrational, I don't think. The Lovers card is, and it's your major arcana. And for me, the Lovers is using head over heart. So if you're using your head over your heart with the Lovers energy, then this becomes, it quantifies for me this card and says this isn't about anger. This is more about moving away from something, because you probably, perhaps the knowledge that comes along with this with the Lovers. Remember, the Lovers is Gemini, yourselves, it's ruled by Mercury as well. So it's all about using that knowledge, okay, and saying, okay, I'm upset about something, but I'm going to move away from it because I'm using my head rather than my heart. I'm looking at things in a much more diplomatic and intelligent and intellectual way rather than going with my emotions, which the Knight of Wands can definitely be. The Wands are very intertwined with the Cups for me, but they're much more of the dramatic end of the Cup energy showing there. Okay, let's have a look at what the personal situation is. So, it's the 7 of Swords. So the 7 of Swords is deceit, lies, I mean, this guy is obviously a barefaced liar because he's stolen stuff, and the kids are like, "Oh, what's happened to my stuff?" But he's looking back and he's like, you know, I'm just taking this to go and get it mended for your parents." So he's probably a barefaced liar, and he's doing it in broad daylight. We can see the fox on the card, which shows someone who's being very cunning. So this guy's obviously being very, very cunning. And it maybe the situation is that whoever it is that broke your heart here, they were very, very cunning with that Seven of Swords. But what are you experiencing with that Seven of Swords now? You're overcoming it with the Sun. You're very aware about that. There's a sense of awareness that comes along with this, because the Sun is not just about overcoming stuff. The Sun is not just about positive things happening and optimistic things happening and changes for the better. It's also a card that hones in on the idea of awakening and highlighting. So and awareness, self-awareness is the Sun. So I think that you're very self-aware. What you're experiencing is a period of enlightenment, which the Sun card can also be. So when you guys are around this is someone who did this, and you guys are experiencing a sense of enlightenment with the Sun energy to this person's lies. What this person's probably done, or what they did, was they tried to they lied to you, but it was a barefaced lie. They were being very cunning, and they were doing things in broad daylight. They were doing things to your face, and they were thinking that they were getting away with it. They were thinking that they were putting the wool over your eyes. But I think, Gemini, this was not the case, because you are very enlightened to whatever this person's been doing with the Seven of Swords energy. And what's the reason for that? Well, because you know them very well. It's a tradition as well. The Ten of Coins means tradition, and if something is a tradition, it's something that you do all the time. So it's a tradition, it's a habit, it's a way of life. This person has done this time and time and time again. Time again. And they've not stopped doing it as well. You know them very well as well, because they're almost like a part of your family, the Ten of Coins. So because you're enlightened, the reason that you're enlightened to this person's bullshit with the Seven of Swords and the Sun is because, number one, it's a tradition. Ten of Coins is a tradition. Look at the scene, family time, Christmas tree. Christmas is a tradition everywhere you go. It's something that happens all the time. So I think that what's happening here is that this is a tradition. This is something that someone does all the time. They lie all the time. They can't help themselves. The other thing is you probably know them very, very well with that Ten of Coins. They could be a husband, they could be a wife, they could be a partner that you've been with for a very long time. What are your hopes and desires? Well, the situation is all about working together with the Three of Coins energy. What are you to progress, to make progress, to develop something with the Three of Coins? What are your hopes around that Three of Coins energy showing there? Your hopes are the Five of Coins energy. I think that your hopes are to push someone out. If you look at the Five of Coins, it's about isolating and rejecting. So your hopes would be, I'd like to reject this. So the situation is all about working with this person on this problem of the Three of Swords. They've obviously got a problem with, but it feels really to me, Gemini, like you've stepped into your own now. That's how it feels on the reading. It feels like you're kind of at a place where it's not that you don't have any feelings for this person. It's just that you know them so well that you've just had enough. And it's more about the mental now overtaking the emotional. You're not in that place anymore, I think, Gemini, where you're allowing this to affect you on an emotional level because you know the person so well. This is a tradition. This is a habit with this person. They do it all the time. They can't help themselves. They just cannot help themselves from lying and telling you barefaced lies and trying to pull the wool over your eyes all the time. But you're really kind of like very enlightened. You're very aware of all of this because it is a habit, it is a tradition. So therefore you're saying your hopes, well, you know, if we were to work together, in terms of working together, I would hope that I would be able to reject this. The Five of Coins is to reject them. Can you see the people outside here? Okay, these people are outside of the cold, so they're being rejected. Your hopes would be to reject this energy. They probably want to... See, this is the thing with this person. It's a habit with them. The Ten of Coins is a habit. It's a tradition. It's a habit. It's an absolute habit with this person. They tell lies all the time. The cunningness of the Seven of Swords energy. And yet they still come back and say, look, I'd like us to work through our problems. But you're kind of like, no, I would hope this time I could reject them from doing that. What's the reason for that? Yeah, Ten of Wands. They're just too much of a hard out. This is too much hard work. It's too much hard work. And also, I hate this picture actually, but look at the bugger. It's quite massive, it's massive. But look at that. You know, you're just freaked out by them. You're just freaked out every time that they come near you. You're just absolutely freaked out. It's like the bug to the to the light bulb. It's just, it just freaks you out. It's too much pressure, too much hard work, and they just absolutely freak you out. They're just freaking you out. It's too much pressure, too many problems with this person. Too many problems. You've had enough. What is it that you are expecting, though? Let's have a look. Right, the Eight of Wands, the situation is all about a message. Eight of Wands, communication. What are you expecting around that? The Queen of Wands energy. So you're expecting an invitation or for some action to occur. What's the reason for that? Because of the King of Swords energy. King of Swords. So you're expecting the Queen of Wands because of the King of Swords. Now this is energy. This is not necessarily people, it's about the energy. Exhibit A is the King of Swords energy. King of Swords is communication, honest communication showing here. So the situation, your expectations are based on the Eight of Wands communication here, in which you'll expect the Queen of Wands energy showing here. No, I think that you would expect to be in charge here actually with these two cards. They're both in charge, aren't they? They're both rulers. The Queen of Wands takes control of the situation. She commands things here. Can you see that? And the King of Swords is in command of communication. This is somebody who is a direct communicator. This is someone who's going to lay down the law. He's laying down the law. He works for the law because this is your sign as well. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, air sign. You're laying down the law. So you expect to be in control of this situation because you're going to lay down the law with the King of Swords energy. You're taking charge in terms of what you say. So you're going to lay down the law. So you expect to be in charge. So you're saying, well, if the situation with the Eight of Wands energy, and it's interesting as well with the Eight of Wands, because the Eight of Wands isn't just about communication. The Eight of Wands is the energy as well. It's the energy that is kind of in charge of this situation, because energy with the Eight Wands are fire, all right? So it's pure energy as well, the Eight of Wands, but also the Eight of Wands can represent things being up in the air as well. So it may be that this isn't so much communication, but it's more about saying, well, your expectations are that if things are up in the air, you, as the Queen of Wands energy, would expect to command this. You're going to direct which way these arrows go, the Eight of Wands. Because look, she's got the wand in her hand and she's able to direct which way the arrows go. She's a witch, remember, in the tarot. The Queen of Wands is a witch, she's a mystic. So she can command which way this goes because the King of Swords energy, you're taking charge, I think. I think that you're going to kind of say, well, I'm going to take charge of the communication, or I'm going to take charge, I want to say how this is going to go. The King of Swords energy, I'm going to direct the conversation with the King of Swords. I'm going to let this person know how we're going to do things from now on, or how this is going to go from now on. What is it you have no control over and you can't see coming in? Well, you've got the Three of Wands energy showing here. So the Three of Wands is the card about waiting for the ships to come in. The Three of Wands is also about the future and in visualising the future, the Three of Wands. What is it you can't see? But it could also be a message from afar as well, the Three of Wands energy showing here. Could also be something from abroad. What is it you can't see coming in around that Three of Wands energy showing there? Some guidance. I think you may be receiving guidance here from abroad, from someone who's far. This may be a family member or a friend who's very far away. What's the reason for their guidance here? Because they want to try and help you to sort through the problem with this person. So don't be surprised if you get some form of guidance from someone who lives abroad or maybe quite far from you. This could be on Skype or on Messenger. So the Three of Wands is also the card that indicates the internet, kind of like communicating with people over the internet via things like Skype or Messenger, that type of thing. So you're looking at them on the screen basically. So I feel that this could be somebody that you're communicating with online. Expect what you can't see coming in is guidance here. And that guidance is so that they can help you to reconcile. Maybe this person wants you to help you to reconcile the difference, or I don't know whether they want you to reconcile with this person, but they certainly want you to try and reconcile the situation, if anything, with the Temperance energy. They want to try and heal it. They want to help you to heal the situation and to find your way. Therefore, what do we see happening around between the 10th and the 18th of April? Right, so the situation is about apathy and feeling fed up and not interested. There's a lack of interest here with the Four of Cups. What are you experiencing around that Four of Cups energy? The Fool. You're freeing yourself off this with the Fool energy. What's the reason for that? because the Magician energy, I think that you're ready to start again, to be honest. I think you're ready to start like planting a few new seeds. Okay, I don't think that you'll carry on with this person, because the Magician is actually you, isn't it? Because the Magician is ruled by Gemini and Virgo. So that's your card there, the Magician. And the Fool is ruled by Aquarius, the sign of freedom and independence and individuality. So this is you releasing yourself from this energy here. You've had enough. I think that some of you guys have really, really had enough. And to be honest with you, I don't see any... There's somebody around you who probably doesn't want you to break up with whoever this person is. It might be a motherly figure, for example, or somebody who still believes that you and this person are meant to be together and you can work it out. It feels like somebody thinks you can still work it out, because Temperance is all about working out problems with a partner. But I think for some of you guys, I think you've had enough. It feels to me, Gemini, like you're kind of like, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm just so done with it. Because you're expecting that if, and it could be with the Eight of Wands energy, that this is a message coming from this person. So you're expecting that if the situation is all about communication, or indeed, let me go back to the analogy of things being up in the air with the Eight of Wands energy. The Queen of Wands has the ability to control energy because she's a witch. So you would say, I can control this thing here, all right, by saying my piece, by communicating my truth. So this is you saying, I expect to communicate my truth. In other words, you're expecting to kind of control the situation for yourself. You're not going to allow it to kind of get out of hand, because the Eight of Wands is kind of like an out of, I see this as the card of a fire. So a fire raging out of control. So you say, I'm going to control this. I'm going to stop this from getting out of control, which is what the Queen of Wands could do. Because she has the power to do that. Because the Queen of Swords, and that's your energy for sure there, I'm going to speak my truth. I'm going to kind of take charge of the situation and say how things are going to be. Okay, I think that really in this area of expectation, you're kind of, because all of this here, it feels like this area here is filled with kind of saying, I'm done with this thing, you know. Somebody thinks that you can work it out, but I don't think you can, because I think in this area here, where you say, you know, around the 10th to the 18th of April, enough is enough. You know, I'm freeing myself from this situation, and I'm going to start, with the Magician energy showing here, start creating my own, you know, a new reality. Maybe I'll start communicating with other people, because the Magician partly is ruled by Mercury as well, and we know that Mercury is all forms of communication. So you'll free yourself of this unhappiness here by maybe going out and communicating with other people. I know that we're under curfew at the moment because of the coronavirus, but you might do it online. Let's have a look at the overall outcome from this area here then. Well, the situation is all about, it can be new love, but it can also be healing. What are we getting coming in? What's the overall outcome around the Ace of Cups energy? Yeah, I think there's a new relationship. You're getting to know somebody else, I think, here with the Two of Cups. Because the overall outcome, this is new love. You guys are getting to know someone. Overall outcome, you're getting to know someone here. What's the reason for that Two of Cups energy showing there? I think that you've just accepted with the Ten of Swords, because the Ten of Swords is acceptance. So this is to surrender. You've just surrendered to the idea that this thing with somebody else is over. What I think is going on here, we're going to quickly do this reading again before we finish. Gemini, I really feel that you've had enough of a certain person here. I really do. I think you've probably given this person chance after chance, because it's showing in the habit card of the Ten of Coins, in the traditional card of the Ten of Coins. Remember, look at the people on the card. They're older people here. They've got children. They've had many, many Christmases together. It's a tradition. So this card says is also a card about repetition and represents the traditions that people can go through. It's a habit and it's a repetition card as well. Ten of Pentacles. Okay, so you've done something over and over again when you get that card as well. And I think you just had enough. All right, here we can see the situation is all about separation, Three of Swords energy, but you are ready for it. So now we say this is not heartbreak on the part of you. The situation for the next 4 weeks is separation, Three of Swords. It's a bit painful, but you're ready for it with the Knight of Wands, because the Knight of Wands is ready for something here. And why is that? Because you've made a head over heart decision with the Lovers. That's in your mental and emotional. All right, because what we're seeing here is that there is a person around you who's been a barefaced liar. They've been very, very cunning, and they've been putting the wool over your eyes. There's a certain amount of taking the pissing away with the Seven of Swords energy. But you are very woke to that. You're very aware of that with the Sun energy, because this is a tradition. This is a pattern that this person has with the Ten of Coins. You know them very well. Okay, what you would hope and desire is that in terms of trying to progress the relationship, you would hope to reject the idea of ever trying to develop something with this person here, because you are really at the end of your tether with the Ten of Wands energy here. This person just freaks you out now. Your expectations are that if you were to communicate with this person here, that you would expect to direct this situation here. You would expect to direct where this energy was going to flow as well with the Eight of Wands energy, because for you, with the King of Swords energy, you're going to take charge of this by telling the person the truth and also showing them Exhibit A. So showing them proof of their bullshit as well. You're just going to basically be telling them a few home truths with that King of Swords energy. So there's nothing about trying to get back together with this person or anything. You're just going to kind of lay it all down on the line. What you can't see coming in is maybe on Skype or Messenger or something, you've got somebody who wants to offer you guidance here. They want you to try and reconcile differences with this person. But I feel really between the 10th and the 18th of April that you guys are so fed up with this now. You just don't want it anymore. And it doesn't matter what this person does to rectify this or anybody else. You're kind of saying to yourself, you know what, I need to be free of this here. All right, I'm going to start probably communicating with other people now, being that magician part of me. And therefore the overall outcome is, well, there's new love here to look at. There's a new possibility with the Ace of Cups here. The overall outcome sees you guys in the long term, I think, getting to know someone else. Because I think that you've accepted with the Ten of Swords energy that the relationship with whoever this person is in that Seven of Swords is over. Now, I could have read, no, actually, no, the Seven of Swords isn't you, it's Aquarius. That's fine. But yeah, you've accepted it. You've accepted it's over and it's time now to start on to pastures new. You've just had enough. You've accepted the ending of this relationship. You're surrendered to the fact that this is a relationship that cannot be developed any longer, and you're going to go over to pastures new now. Start building something for yourself. Start communicating with other people afresh, which is quite nice. Let's have a look at and it's great to look at a reading like that, because sometimes people do come to the end of their tether. Sometimes people do absolutely have enough. They're just like, you know what, I'm done. I'm so done with this. I'm just so done with it. I can't do this anymore, which is fair enough. Let's have a look at Gemini, at what the spiritual advice is for the month, for the next 4 weeks. For the next 4 weeks, what's the spiritual advice for Gemini? For the next 4 weeks, what's the spiritual advice for Gemini in one card? It says Dolphin. That's your spiritual advice. Dolphin, don't worry, be happy. Let me have a quick look at that in the booklet and just see what it's saying to you. So the spiritual advice is, let's have a look, Dolphin. So don't worry, be happy. The dolphin has the spiritual ability to uplift your spirits with its friendly, playful nature. Escape from the stress of life by being more relaxed and doing more of what you enjoy. Pursue your creative passions and use your energy in a more productive way. Try not to worry about issues you have no control over. This worrying can become a habit. So by taking a more relaxed and laid back attitude, you can conquer your stress and become more calm and content. The mantra for this card is, I love to be playful and let go of worry. And that's what I think that you're doing. To be honest with you, I think it's just reinforcing that on the reading, Gemini. That's what I think that you guys are doing. I don't think that you're necessarily worrying. I think that you're at a place, especially with that card being you, the Lovers. I mean, you've got two major arcanas really, haven't you? You've got the Magician as one and the Lovers as the other. Okay, and both cards indicate the need to communicate with other people and the need to use one's head over one's heart. It's not about, because the Magician isn't about the heart. The Magician is all about the visualization in the head. Okay, it's about attracting in the very things that you think. So for some of you guys, it's a case of, I don't see this reading as you guys worrying. I see this card as this reading as one of self-validation. Some of you guys really are at that kind of place now with the Ten of Wands, where you're at the end of your tether. There's no more to be done about it. You've really had enough. It's like, this is done for me. I'm kind of done on this, because this person, the key points here are that this person's behavior, you are very aware of this person's cunning, and you're very aware that it's a habit. They keep doing it time and time and time again. It's like Christmas every year. You've come to expect it, because this is also the card that indicates we've come to expect it, because it's a habit. It's a habit. We come to expect them doing this. And I think that when you have somebody like that and you come to expect a behaviour like that, you're kind of at the end of your tether and you're saying, you know what, I'm just done with this now. I can't do this anymore. I just cannot do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. You know, you're just at that point where you're just kind of like, no, I just cannot do this anymore. I'm so over it now. And I think you are. I think that you're just over whatever this is. It just feels like when I'm reading it, I can sense and I can feel with the Gemini that you're just at that place where there's nothing left to feel. I don't see any feelings. And I see that people want to keep you together. People are probably advising you. A friend is in this area, the hidden aspects. People are advising you to be together. People are advising you. Friends are saying, oh no, you'll get through it. But you're kind of like, no, I won't. Because you don't want to anyway. Even if there was a chance to, which there is probably still a chance that you could. But you say, no, we would still, this person would still revert to type. So there is a sense of just feeling this has got to be let go now and I've got to move on, which is fair play to you, Gemini. Brilliant. All right, that is your reading for the next 4 weeks. I'd like to say thanks ever so much for joining me on Carol's Universe. If you'd like your own personal reading, you can. Just click on the link in the comment section, or you can click on the end screen. Take care. Bye-bye.